What's going on, boys and girls? A massive, massive game awaits us away to Aston Villa at Villa Park tonight. God, this is a big game. This is a huge game. Aston Villa are arguably the most informed team in the Premier League right now. They very rarely get beaten at Villa Park. And this is first against third. This is first against third, and this is an opportunity for Aston Villa to cut the deficit to us by 3 points and to get within 3 points of first place. So they will be hugely fired up for this one. I think Aston Villa feel a little bit... I think they feel like they're being a little bit overlooked at the moment within the conversation around who's in a title race. You know, a lot of people are talking about Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, but I think if you look at the form that Aston Villa are in right now and where they are in the table, they should be spoken about as a title contender. And this is going to be an incredibly difficult game for Arsenal. I put this up on par with Liverpool away and Chelsea away if you factor in the confidence and the form that Chelsea were going into that game against us in. So this is going to be an incredibly difficult game. Aston Villa are coming off the back of a really impressive midweek win away to Brighton, where they were 2-0 down within that game. So they are going to be full of confidence. I think Unai Emery is always up for any game against Arsenal, considering the history there. And this is going to be a challenge. This is going to be a real challenge. Arsenal have had an unbelievable last 10, 12 days if you factor in the fact they've played Tottenham, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Brentford, and now Aston Villa away. It's been an incredible stretch of games. And I think if we can find a way to get a win in this one, that would just be an unbelievable body of work. Even factoring in that Chelsea draw at Stamford Bridge. So it's a massive game for both football clubs. It's an opportunity to make a statement to the rest of the league again. Look, I'm not going to lie, I'm nervous about this one. I'm really nervous about this one. I go into most games these days with a lot of confidence, just off the back of what this team has been doing now for a period of time. But the injuries that we're dealing with right now are proving to be challenging. And I think for this game in particular, if I look at the amount of football that's been played over the last 10, 12 days, I think a lot of our players in this team are kind of redlining right now. And so I think it'll all come down to who's fit and available for this one. In my opinion, Saliba and Rice must start in this match for us to feel confident going into this one. If Rice and Saliba aren't fit and they're not starting, I'm probably sitting here going, I'll take a draw right now. If Rice and Saliba start, then my mindset is more about, right, let's go and get the win here. So Aston Villa have a really strong, powerful, physical midfield. And I think without Rice in our midfield, there is the possibility that we could get overrun in this game. So I think even if Rice is 70% fit, he needs to start this game for me. I would have rested Rice against Brentford. I would have done that, but we obviously didn't, and he came off around the 80th minute mark with what looked like a calf situation. But I think, although Arteta's being a little bit cagey on it, I do have a feeling that Rice will start this one. I think Rice plays this game, and then I think he gets rested for Bruges and Wolves. That would be the way I would look at it. If I go into the starting 11, Raya in goal. If Saliba's fit, you know, Arteta around the Brentford game was saying that the likes of Saliba and Trossard were days away. So if that's the case, they should be back for this one. So I'm going to cross my fingers and say that Saliba will be back and he'll partner Nketiah in central defence. Devastating news about Mosquera, potentially being out for 6 to 8 weeks. That is a massive blow when you factor in the fact that Gabriel is already out as well. So to think that those two players might miss the whole of December is concerning, but I'll save that for another video. Timber on the right, Calafiori on the left. If Saliba's not fit, then I think the only option we've got is to play Ben White on the right and put Timber in central defence with Nketiah. Zubimendi in the 6. Rice has to be in that 8 position for me. I don't care if he's 70% fit, we play him. And then I'm gonna go Eze in the 10 on the premise that I think Trossard should be back. Odegaard right now, for me, needs to earn his position back in this team. I don't think that just because he's back from injury, he should walk into this side. I don't think his form is anywhere near good enough. I don't think it has been for a long time now. And I think he should be eased back into this squad. And so if Trossard is back and fit, given that he's been one of our best attacking players this season, for me, he goes back onto that left wing and we keep Eze in the 10. And I think Eze will offer a little bit more robustness than Odegaard in that midfield. And I feel more confident against Villa's midfield with Zubimendi, Rice and Eze than I do with Odegaard, because I just think Odegaard is a bit too lightweight for games like this, in my opinion. Saka on the right. Look, Madueke started really well against Brentford, but he dropped off quite significantly. And I think Madueke needs to improve his end product. I think he's great at getting past the first man, but his end product for me needs to be improved significantly. Although Saka is not in prime Saka form right now, he still has that piece of magic in him. You know, you saw against Brentford, he got the second goal. Against Chelsea, he had the assist for Marino's goal. I think at the end of the day, even if Saka's not playing to his level, he's still going to create either an assist or potentially score a goal. And I think that's more than what Madueke offers right now. So Saka on the right. And then the 9 position is the one that everyone's kind of debating over right now. You know, does Gyökeres come back in or does Marino keep his place? And look, I wouldn't be angry with either one of these players starting, but I do think if you look at what Marino has delivered, particularly over these last few weeks with Gyökeres out, I think it would be hard to drop Marino right now. You know, he's full of confidence, he's scoring goals, he's making assists. So I do think he deserves the chance to start in this match. The only thing I would say is that if Gyökeres is fit enough to start, I think he provides more aggression and ability for us to press aggressively from the front, which is a big part of what we do when we don't have the ball. I feel like with Marino in the 9, we're not able to press as effectively as we do. And so I think from that point of view, I'm tempted to start Gyökeres. But again, like I said, I was surprised that Gyökeres didn't play more minutes against Brentford midweek, which maybe indicates that he's not quite ready. So I think Marino will probably start up top. And yeah, look, if Saliba and Rice start, I'm going into this game thinking we should be winning it. We should be going into this game to win, and I'll go with a 2-1 win. If Rice and or Saliba are missing, I'm probably looking at a draw in this one, and I'd probably happily take a draw and move on. But let's go with the premise that Rice and Saliba are starting, and let's go with that 2-1 win, because I think that's a massive statement from Arsenal. If we can come out of this game and get a win, I think that really shows everyone else, if we haven't already, that we are the team this season that is going to go on and win that Premier League. I think this is a massive game. And I think if you look at it, once we get this game out of the way, that's Manchester United away, that's Liverpool away, Newcastle away, Chelsea away, and Aston Villa away. That is some massive away games out the way before Christmas has even come around. And so if we can get those games out the way and be in a position where we've got a 5-point lead over second place, that is a massive result. So yeah, it's gonna be a nervy game. Aston Villa are going to be fast, aggressive, front-footed, full of confidence, and it's about whether we can shut the crowd up early and peg that team back in terms of confidence. I think if we can get a goal in the first 15, 20 minutes and really quieten down that crowd, then that should be a really good foundation for us to go and build from. But I think Aston Villa might look to adopt the blueprint that was kind of set by Sunderland a few weeks ago. I think the physicality that Sunderland brought to that game and the kind of dark arts of knowing how to slow that game down and break it up and kind of destroy Arsenal's ability to kind of create a level of tempo and fluidity. I think it's something that Chelsea looked to do as well at Stamford Bridge, and I think they did it quite well as well. So I feel like Aston Villa, given that they are quite a big physical team, I think they will also look to try and do the same. I think they'll try and be really physical with us, and I think they will try and kind of break play up, particularly if they manage to get in front. I think if Aston Villa get in front, it could be a really long day for Arsenal. But the one thing I will say is Aston Villa have been conceding some goals. For as well as they've been doing, they have been conceding goals. And so if we can be clinical in the final third, then there's definitely going to be opportunities for Arsenal to score goals. It's just about whether we can take them. So yeah, it's going to be a massive game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think we'll win? Would you be happy with a draw? Do you think Rice and Saliba are fit enough to start? And who would you start in the 9 position? Let me know, and hopefully I'm speaking to you in a day or two off the back of a really impressive away win at Aston Villa. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.